The story starts in a cave, and we see drops of water falling from the ceiling. A wounded warrior falls to his knees, and his teammates ask if he is all right. Meanwhile, a mage urges him to hold on a little longer. In the next panel, we see the warrior completely falling on his face, eating dirt. The remaining army asks how many people have collapsed so far, realizing that the healers may not have enough mana left to heal him. At this point, won't he die? "It's okay," says the guy on all fours like a dog with a happy expression. He reassures them, saying there's still hope as they are being carried by the strongest in the Empire, Vern. With a concerned look, Vern tells the guy, "Since I can hear you all the way from here, you must be all right. Now get off the floor, warrior." "Yes, sir," said the guy. Vern's inner thoughts reveal that the group is starting to get restless. The subjugation party started with 74 members and is now down to 43. For those who can't do the math, that means 31 people from the elite group have died. As Vern clenches his teeth in rage, he calms down, saying, "I didn't lose 31 soldiers. 43 soldiers survived. What a half-cup follow mentality." In the next panel, we see how the 31 soldiers died, plant-like monsters. Everyone knew of the dangers, and it wasn't his fault, but he can't help but feel responsible being the strongest. As he looks up, he sees 2 light balls, mostly light magic, protecting him and the rest of the army from the darkness of the dungeon. "Sir Vern," the subordinate says, "please look over there. Lies a big door that even Clifford the big red dog couldn't fit through." "Finally, we arrive," Vern said in relief. This is the end of the dungeon, the last stop, the end of all our valiant efforts. There are so many treasures beyond our imagination stored here, gold and magic items that would change the lives of 1 billion people, and also the place where the owner of the dungeon resides. As the floor starts to shake aggressively, as if a stage 5 earthquake were happening, Vern knows something big is coming. Vern orders the people to get in formation. "Get ready to fight. Shield and swordsman to the front, mages. Brighten up the place so we can see what we are facing." As the cave stops shaking, everyone looks confused. The mages continue to brighten up the place. "Please don't let your guard down. Even when the earthquake stops, we see 4 light spells slowly rise to the top of the cave, reflecting off a 4-eyed beast." Vern and the warrior see this, and their mouths drop to the floor as they witness a monster with many razor-sharp teeth. The panel then shifts to a skeleton repeating what the dragon said. "I was sleeping here when the humans charged in. I did well since I overcame my exhaustion and fought." As the dragon-like monster, who looks more like a 9-tailed fox, starts flexing, saying it went against 2 opponents, the humans and Fatigue. Patrick, with a scary face, asks the skeleton to calm down due to the skeleton emitting a powerful murderous aura. The skeleton suggests calming down and questions if it makes sense for a dungeon boss to yawn in front of humans. Renee, a maid, is asked for her opinion, and she changes the panel saying, "What do I think? I don't really know, but to be able to overpower the humans with just a yawn, Mr. Devourer is so cool." With that answer, the skeleton gives up and sits in the corner, screaming that the dungeon is screwed. "Don't be like that. If you think too much, your bones will rot." The panel shifts, and we get information that the 7 dungeons that humans tentatively decided were impossible to raid. This is one of the 7 great evil dungeons. Most dungeon raids end in human victory. Humans could, so in the end, the repeated battles weakened the dungeon at a rapid rate, allowing attacks any time. This put the monsters, who had to be ready to fend off humans at all times, in an unfair position. However, as countless dungeons were successfully raided and built over time, the existence of exponential dungeons that can now be counted by humans was pretty obvious. Great dungeons, or to be exact, 7th grade evil dungeons, were the 7 dungeons mankind agreed were unconquerable. Even among the notorious 7 great evil dungeons, in the worst of all the demonic realms, the primordial core, Dozens of creatures guarded the dungeons, and the gatekeepers of the 3 crossroads waited. The homunculus guarding the red crossroads on the left was named Renee, a blade maid. The skeleton guarding the blue crossroad in the center was named Death Knight, Pedrick. Not much information was known about the 5th tainted path to the right, which was given the name Mysterious Tentacles. The ruler of the unconquerable fortress was the primordial monster from the first chapter of the Empire mythology, Devour, says the girl as she closed the book. That's what it says here, so that must be the reason why there have been so many humans trying to conquer the dungeon. There have definitely been more intrusions. As the monster-like dragon creature said with excitement, "You've got to have the know-how to manage a dozen, too. You know, wrap it up in a bit of mysticism and the humans don't even notice. You've got to link some information like this so they make the mistake of thinking, oh, we know everything about that dungeon. So when they see books like these filled with fantasies, they're all over them like moths to a flame. Even so, I honestly didn't even expect them to come flocking here like this, to a flame." As the panel is shown, the monster conquering over all the dead bodies of past adventurers, counting them and questioning where is 74 of them. Yeah, but most of their gear was melted fighting Mr. 116 Black Tentacles, making it useless. The ones that were made intact were pretty expensive. I'm sure I could have managed to deal with them without damaging the goods, said the maid. We now see the monster-like being turning into a human, walking up to the maid and petting her hair. Yeah, I'm sure you would have been able to do that, said calmly as the maid said, Hey. With the next panel, we see the skeleton asking, Hey, are you sure we're here for a meeting and not just hanging out for fun? So why is it you two are always the ones so happy? As the skeleton's mouth drops with excitement, the vibes here are so sweet. I think just breathing could give me cavities, but I don't think it'll rot just my teeth. My head might rot too. Also, boss, if you're going to polymorph, you might as well just do it properly. Right now, I caught a glimpse of you patting Ronnie's head, and you had 6 fingers. So the main character looks at his fingers. Oh, you're right. There are really 6 of them. Well, they're still better than the last time when we had over 40 teeth. As the skeleton remarked how the main character smiled was giving him chills down his spine, annoying the maid with the jaws making too much noise. I had to tell her to quit being a dungeon gatekeeper if she's so disgusted by it. With everything out of the way, I'll cut to the chase. As you may know, humans have finally begun invading the right crossroad. The problem is that the process 116 Black Tentacles, who was guarding the right crossroad, his condition seems pretty critical. Well, don't worry too much, says the main character. The regenerative power of the tentacles is beyond your imagination. After all, let's see what happens, and if it really doesn't work out, get a new gatekeeper. This is where the skeleton said, Oh, boss, then when you're hiring, do me a favor and hire 2 of them so I can quit too. This made the main character upset. What are you talking about? Your contract lasts for life. Anyways, humans are only coming from my right crossroad. They must be already organizing a new raid force. Humans these days actually use communication magic like telepathy, so the news about the crack in the right road must have already been spread out, said the maid. Well, in that case, we'll have to plan accordingly. You two, listen up. We're going to switch positions. First, you ready? You've been guarding the left path on the right. Today onwards, you'll take care of the 5th crossroad on the right, changing places with tentacles. The raid force will be swarmed, thinking it's empty. You just gotta stop them. The maid got all happy, saying, I can stop any number of people who come down here, Mr. Devour. Pedrick, you'll take the red crossroad on the left that Renee usually protects. Discard, and then questions why me. The humans who realize he or her need on the 5th crossroad go ahead for the red crossroad on the left, where Renee usually is. Then Pedrick will be there to stop them. This way, we can stop 2 invasions. Wait, boss, said the skeleton. What do you plan to do to the humans heading for the blue crossroad in the center, leaving everybody in a daze? Well, There's nothing we can do about that. They'll just have to enjoy a date with me, says the skeleton. The maid says, "What kind of messy plan is that?" The main character thinks that is a perfect plan. Now that the most urgent matter was taken care of, the only remaining item on the agenda is deciding what to do with that sword. Sword? What sword? Said the main character. I'm talking about the one that the leader of the raid force this time was using. That guy that came this time was really pretty strong. The skeleton shows his master the sword, which was called the 36 Masterpiece. It was a very famous weapon among humans, though it's not exactly a weapon. This sword is number 14. I guess its name is Tanabella. Ah, the main character now remembers the 36 shit piece or something like that. This reminded the main character that one of the blades the maid has is also one of the 36 masterpieces. Humans carry pretty good stuff, huh? The skeleton said. If we give it to those at the entrance, humans will snatch it back from them, and if it falls into their hands again, it will be a headache for us too, right? That being said, you're going to have to take it. This is where the boss said, "Pedrick, you will use the sword, right? Can't you just use it as a skeleton?" The skeleton, all happy, saying, "Really? Oh, you shouldn't have, boss. Since it's your order, I have no choice then. That is all for today. Thank you all for watching the video. I've spent so long making this video. It would mean the world to me if you guys can subscribe and like for part 2.